Hello, welcome to the podcast. We're here for another episode of the Builders Ladder podcast, and today I am joined by Andy Ross, one of our performance coaches. Andy, how are you?
I am very good, Owen. Thank you. Yourself?
Oh, mate, you know the rules. Every day's a good day. Great to have you on the line today. For those that might be tuning in for the first time, do you mind giving us a little bit of an intro? Who are you, where are you from, and what do you do, or what do you do with our members?
Here on the spot. So my name's Andy Ross. I'm born and bred in Auckland. I am one of the performance coaches at TPB. So I'm essentially helping our members with strategy, implementing strategies, goals, and helping them to achieve big things.
So good. Awesome. And you've had a couple of members with some pretty cool results and wins recently. What would be maybe one of your highlights?
Which is, not really one you want with your team, but look, so he let this go on for some time, and I guess the rule with leadership is if you let something go, you're essentially green-lighting it, and it can be pretty hard to bring that back once you've essentially okayed something. So with a bit of support and guidance, Noel released them to a new adventure, i.e. he fired them, and he's been building the team from the ground up again. So he introduced a company vision, values, and he really brought them on that journey with him. And the last time I caught up with him, his big win was the feedback he was getting from the clients. So not just the quality of the workmanship, but actually the conduct of his team on site, and the fact that the clients were going out of their way to tell him about the just the quality of people that he had on his team was really awesome. And one other win, the other one that he had was that he was actually sleeping better, and he didn't have to worry and stress about those team members so much. So that was a really cool one.
Yeah, not to be understated, when you can sleep well at night. It's pretty stressful, bit of an island sometimes being a business owner. And I'm sure you can empathize as well with your business experiences as well, that when shit's going well, you can feel on top of the damn world. But when shit's going poorly, it can feel like the weight of the world's on your shoulders, and waking up at sort of 3 a.m. and not being able to get back to sleep is half of the course sometimes.
100%. When it's going poorly, it all falls on you as the owner and leader. So yeah, you have to own that, fortunately or unfortunately.
Yeah, totally. So there's a couple of things there worth unpacking, like, you don't rise to the level of your motivation, you fall to the standard of your systems, things like this. Yeah, we talk a lot about building a culture of high performance that has a decentralized element to it, so that all questions and queries don't need to flow back through the bottleneck at the top of the bottle, you, the owner, but also training them on being good problem solvers. So like big core belief that we've got here at TPB, and that we try to install into many of our members, is that good businesses have good leaders. Good leaders are good problem solvers, and problem solving is a skill that must be taught to the team. And that starts with things like 131 or PSR, or your ability to coach and lean into your team at every level. So PSR, if you don't already know, and you're listening to this for the first time, is problem solutions recommendation. Come to me with one problem at a time, 3 potential solutions, and your 1 recommendation, so that I can either course correct you, let you win, or let you fail. And it can be a learning exercise for everybody, so that we get better at problem solving, therefore better at leadership, and therefore be able to run a better business overall. But tell me a little bit more, like where do you want to take the conversation today? What's like the key thing that you want to unpack?
I'm a big believer in team culture and bringing the team along with you. Like your team is the most valuable asset in your business, and you really have to look after your team. So I probably, as we all do in business, we learn from our mistakes, and probably where I became really, passionate about the team culture was from a previous life where I used to own an allied health franchise. So I had a lot of employees working under me, and as you do, you see they're working well, and you leave them to it. And I had one particular employee, there was this one particular incident that really got me thinking differently. So this one employee, great employee, he was kicking all sorts of ass, he was kicking goals, and I just left him to do his thing. So one day I got the dreaded request for a meeting. So you immediately think, shit, what have I done? Has he been offered something better? Is he about to leave? And so jumped into the meeting. He's like, Andy, how am I doing? Like, can I have some feedback? And it was a real eye-opener for me that I'd dropped the ball. I hadn't given him feedback. I assumed he was happy just doing his thing. So the realization that was people really crave feedback, support, and direction. And they're not just going to go to the workplace that paid them the most. They're looking for a lot more than that. So on the back of that, I kind of started doing a bit of research and kind of what are employees actually looking for. And the comprehensive list, or maybe not so comprehensive list I've come up with, was the positive work culture, supportive environment, teamwork and collaboration, effective leadership, recognition and appreciation, training and development, and a big one is career development and opportunity for advancement, as well as competitive salary. So I think that's something that the construction industry really needs to tap into a lot more. And I think there's that assumption that kind of it's a very blokey industry. We'll just kind of leave people to do their thing, and if I just pay them well, they'll be happy. But the research tells us the complete opposite.
Totally. And it's funny, at the end of that list, you listed competitive salary. Like, I know that wasn't an ordered list, but as at the end, it's almost kind of like, and also you got to pay them well.
About fifth or sixth on the list. So it's not right down the bottom. We need to pay people well for what they do and reward them for the efforts that they put in, but it's certainly not at the top.
Yeah, 100%. And it's kind of super common conversation that I have with people is they often say, I can't find good guys. And I go, what have you done? And they go, I put a job ad up and, I think we can pay some pretty good wages. Like, we're marketing this job at top of market. Like, we'll pay some pretty good stuff. And that's it. And it's like, nah, dude, we're missing a really amazing opportunity where we need to be marketing our company just like for people, just like we do for projects. So somebody is going to make a decision on who their builder is going to be based not exclusively on price, but on the processes that you use, the product or the projects that you do, right? And the people that you've got. So, if we were to break it down, we've got the 4 questions, 5 concerns that are like really breaking it down. Who are you? Who's your team? How can I trust you? How can you help me? Our concerns are timeline, budget, trustworthiness, quality, and communication. But if we were to chunk it up a level, it's like price, project, people, and process, right? That we can compete against. And the same applies when somebody's looking for a job or a career opportunity. They're looking for pay, yes, but they're also looking for, is the project cool, or am I standing frames every day? Are there processes, or am I going to be tapped out and really stressed every single day and it's just fucking chaos over here? And then other people, or is the culture and community that I'm going to be a part of bit of me, or are they all wet blankets, old, young, smoking durries and getting on the piss every weekend, or are they into the same sort of stuff that I'm into? And if you don't market or tell the market about your projects that you do, the process that you use, and the community or the people that they get to hang out with, then ultimately you do have to pay above market price to get the right people. But if you have a more holistic mix of all this stuff, you're able to attract some really talented humans.
Yeah, it reminds me of a great Dan Martell quote, and I've used this a couple of times, and I'll use it more times again. So, create a vision big enough for everyone in our team's dreams and goals to fit inside of. So I think that's an absolute cracker, and it covers everything we're talking about and much more. I think if business owners can really take that concept on board and try to bring everyone along with their dream and vision, then they'll keep people longer, they'll get more out of them, they'll have more efficiency, they'll have better culture, and life as a business owner will be a hell of a lot easier.
I 100% agree. People don't often leave jobs, they leave bosses and opportunities. So they'll either leave somebody because the leader sucks, or they'll leave somewhere because they just kind of like outgrow the opportunity. Like, I no longer want to stand frames. I no longer want to do, whatever shitty job they might be having to do. They want career progression. They want to be able to elevate themselves. So what's a way that somebody listening could kind of like take this and then implement it amongst their team? What are some of the tools or strategies that people can actually like implement and install rather than just go, yeah, sounds great, Andy, but like, how do I apply this?
Key modules are what we call the rules of the game. And I also like to refer to this as the non-negotiables. So basically, the minimum expectation of conduct. And this is something that you can set as the owner, but ideally you should have the team involved in setting these rules and actually have them sign the rules of the game document. So they've made that psychological commitment, and it's much easier to hold them to account. And if they've been involved in setting them, actually have them holding each other to account, have a really high standard set, and make sure they actually hold each other to account. And rising tide lifts all boats. Everyone's level of conduct will elevate.
Yeah, I love that. So the rules of the game, or the minimum expectations of conduct, love it. So it's normally like a 1-pager or a 2-page document that everybody agrees to and how they're going to show up, basically. What kind of stuff would be included in that?
You can have really simple things like turning up early, being ready, have the site clear. You can implement a non-smoking policy, a cell phone policy, a uniform policy. Some places implement the don't be a dick policy. But if you're going to implement the don't be a dick policy, you have to state what being a dick actually entails so that you can hold people accountable to it. So you can be as creative as you want. And like I said, if you get the team involved in that, they'll come up with some absolute crackers and they'll hold each other accountable.
Totally. And then what we get our members to do is, so in terms of a timeline, you might frame this up on a Monday toolbox meeting, right? So at the beginning of the week, you say, look, we're going in this direction. We want to maintain some standards. I'm going to be bringing some new people onto the team. I think you guys are a great example of who we want to attract and how we want to behave and show up. So I want to collectively pull together a set of standards that we can put on a piece of paper and hold up, sort of thing. So you frame it up on a toolbox meeting on a Monday. You might draft something together over the week and then give it to the guys with some blank sections at the end of the week on a Friday. Tell them to take those pieces of paper away over the weekend and have them fill out or think about some more stuff over the weekend, and then get everybody's pieces of paper back on the next toolbox meeting on a Monday, formalize it and tidy it all up over that week, and then present it to everybody on the following Friday. So over 2 weeks, you're going from conversation, draft, to a final document. And then when you give it back to them as a final document, on the second page, there's just a space for everyone to sign it. Now, just like in the sales process, where the preliminary contract agreement might not be an agreement worth the paper that it's written on, but by paying a deposit, even if it's $50, and signing the agreement, you are closing a buying loop psychologically, because you've opened your wallet and you're like, oh, I've made a purchase now. It might have been $50, but I no longer continue to actively look and search for other builders, right? And it's the same with the signature. Yeah. That happens, that same psychological trigger happens if they're signing this document. It's not a legal document. You can't hold anybody to it, but they're kind of like, oh, fuck, I really put my name to this. I got to show up and do what I said I was going to do. Nobody likes to go against, the principles that they say they were going to uphold, sort of thing. So, yeah.
Correct. And I guess that I love a good quote as much as the next man does, Owen. So it reminds me of another cracker I saw just the other day. Nothing will kill a great employee faster than watching you tolerate a bad one. So if you've got the rules set and someone doesn't adhere to them and you let them get away with it, you're not going to lose the bad employee because they're just going to stick around as long as they can. It's the good ones that you don't want to lose that are going to bail.
Yeah. There's a great way that this can be installed once it's finished, and that is in 2 ways. First, I would get it printed and laminated, and then it goes up on the wall on site. So that the foreman or whoever is leading the site and the apprentice or anybody that's on site can go and point at it if people are acting up, playing up, doing stuff out of line. You can just hold each other accountable by just going like, dude, is that your signature? What's changed? Right? And then the second way is that you don't have to have too many crucial conversations. You can just go the same thing in a one-on-one setting. Andy, that's your signature? Like, come on, dude, what's going on? What's changed? What's different? Like, how come you're deviating from what we said we were going to do? How can I help? And it's a lot less confrontational and puts the emphasis back on them holding their own standards rather than you playing grumpy bugger on site.
it makes those seemingly difficult conversations a lot easier. And the more you do them, the easier they get. Because I know a lot of owners, they wake up one morning and they're an owner. They were a builder. Next thing they know, they're an owner and they have to lead people, and they're not comfortable with these difficult conversations. Okay. And so by having it documented, by making it just a part of the culture, that we have a culture of excellence, we're going to hold each other to a high standard. And like you said, dude, that's your signature. What's going on? Sort it out. Let's move on.
Yep.
They become a lot easier.
100%. And if they don't get with the program, then they often self-select out of that culture and self-select out of that process, which might feel painful immediately because you're like, oh, yeah, I'm down a guy or whatever. But honestly, mid to long term, fantastic. Go right back to the beginning. People want to work with other talented people. Normally, the highest performers are going to lean into a category like, yeah, bloody oath, let's have some high standards. Let's do this. And then, just like I said at the beginning, when you're trying to attract good employees, if you don't talk about your people, so your community, your processes, what makes everybody tick, or like makes everybody's life easier, I should say, sorry. And then your projects, you have to overpay. And this is an example of a process that allows us to hold standards across a more flat operational organization. Like the apprentice can point at that and go like, wait, this says no hazing of the apprentice. Sort of like, you know? So it helps everybody to like hold a high standard and feel a level of or a degree of ownership. And while it might move some people out of the company in the short term, it will honestly attract more of your proper tribe in the long term, because now it shows what you stand for, that what you do not tolerate, and it will attract the people that resonates with.
A little hazing's okay.
Little hazing. Have you ever had your hammer de-weed?
What?
So, I will never forget, I had my hammer de-weed on day one of me being a labourer. So I came on site and he goes, had your hammer de-weed? And I go, what are you talking about? Nah. He's like, give it here, let me have a look. I hand it over, takes it, and he goes, wee! And like throws it off into the distance. Like, yeah, no, I fell for that one.
Yeah, you're not allowed to haze anymore, but I think my philosophy is you'll only put the effort to haze someone if you actually care about them. So it's actually a sign of endearment, if anything.
There you go. I love it. So good. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today. We've spoken about the rules of the game, or the minimum expectations of conduct. We've spoken about a couple of core principles when it comes to leadership and 131 and PSR and holding standards. What do you think are, people's key takeaways, or what should they do from here to start implementing this into their business?
You can have your vision, your values, your non-negotiables. You can have all of these things in place. If you don't bring the team on the journey with you, they're all going to fall flat. And that's where I'll introduce our resource, the Same Page Plan. So it essentially covers where the company is now, where the company's going, how the company wins, what winning looks like, how the team can win along the way, and what's required by everyone. So like I said, basically bringing everyone along the journey, getting them on board with those visions, values, KPIs, rules of the game. And in my opinion, that is the key to a successful business, having a successful culture, and having a business that people don't want to leave.
So good. Yeah. Same Page Plan is an absolute banger of a resource. I think that it ties together a lot of the things that we've spoken about around vision, around values. I think what it also does is, like, that famous Mike Tyson quote, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. Like, the value is not in the plan, the value is in the planning. So if you were to give people the plan, they go, oh yeah, sweet as, and they get punched in the face, material delays, weather delays, price rises, COVIDs, labor shortages, variations, change orders, you name it, they get punched in the proverbial face and they go, oh, fuck. Hey, boss, how do I solve this? You've given them the plan. They have no idea how to pivot or change or update and improve the plan. You engage them in the planning. Here's where we are going. How do you think we should get there together? What standards should we hold? What values should we represent? Who do we need to bring onto the team, and who might we need to get rid of in the team? If they are part of the planning process, they have a lot more feeling of ownership around that planning process. And when they get punched in the proverbial face, they know how to improve, change, or edit the plan to still get to the final destination. So, like, big believer in sharing the same page plan and then collaborating, like we said, with the Monday toolbox meeting, get a draft together, have them edit it, update over the weekend, review the draft, sign it all. This is participating in the planning so that people actually understand what's gone into it and they feel more ownership around it. Like, have you heard the IKEA principle?
You're going to have to remind me.
When people build something themselves, they take a lot better care of it. So for furniture, for example, people, the average lifespan of an IKEA piece of furniture is actually often longer than furniture that comes pre-assembled, because people will have built it and have a lot more ownership and therefore respect for the piece of furniture that they have built. So while IKEA furniture is made with maybe weaker materials, the average life cycle of a IKEA piece of furniture is longer because people will respect it and take better care of it because they have spent the time in building it. They've built it with somebody, whereas like most other furniture comes pre-assembled. And it's the same sort of thing here. If people help build the company with you and put these systems and processes in place, collaborate on the values and on the vision and on the standards that are set, they're going to be much more likely to uphold those values. They are partly their values, or ideally they should be reflective of everybody's values. Therefore, it's much easier to hold them because it's not just relying on you holding these standards. The whole team is doing it together.
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah, so good. Andy, I appreciate your time, man. You're a busy bloke with many members to steward and look after. When are we going to see you next? Next week of the summer?
Next week at Summit, in-person Summit, Auckland, Thursday, Friday. Looking forward to it. We've got so many members coming. We've got an absolute stacked lineup of speakers and the networking as well. So there's so much value in the actual formal sessions and the speakers, but the networking afterwards over a cold beer or a water or a hot chocolate, whatever your poison is, there is so much value in that. So looking forward to networking with people, having a yarn, and I think just the team is going to elevate so much after that, and we've got all of the planned in-person events coming up over the next year or so as well. So yeah, it's going to be gold.
Oh, good. I can't wait. It's going to be good to hang out with yourself, Andy. And then if you're a member listening to this and you're not coming, then I need you to put your hand out. And bad member, you must come to these events. They're so much fun because everything you just said. The next one after Auckland is happening on the Gold Coast, October the 9th and the 10th. That's the Thursday and Friday, October the 9th and 10th. Get reserved seating now. Go to the website, talk to your coach, and get in. Can't wait to see you next week, Andy. Have a good one. And thank you for sharing all your wisdom today. We appreciate you.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks, Owen.
Yeah, mate.